Yo, welcome back to Valheim. In this, I'm going to be discussing gates and all of the different gatehouses that have become effective for me so far throughout my game, and show you how to make them, what you need to make them, and why they work as well as they do. The gates are stupidly effective. After living in the plains for a little while, you start to realize that this is just about a necessity in order to survive. The shit that comes at you, it just deals a stupid amount of damage. So being able to have double doors to be able to cover your ass and also fight back at the same time while relatively guarded, it's huge. Like, these guys will just continue to attack my shit, and I'll just laser them out the side of this castle here. Like, gates work extremely well. If you're having any trouble, even with just the random events that spawn, like skeletons are spawning or the Surtlings, anything like that, these gatehouses make a huge difference. The first level of defense, obviously, you just saw, you can shoot out the windows at anything running around on the outside. But if shit gets a little bit too intense and you've got to split them up a little bit, you can also do this. Let's see if, I think I murdered most of... Oh, okay, I take that back. I did not murder most of them. Okay, I don't want to take a hit here because those guys absolutely murdered me right now. I didn't bring food. That was probably not smart. But anyways, you can cut them off by bringing like one guy into here. See, watch. Bring him into here. Close the gate. And now I've got a 1v1 in the gatehouse. Those guys are outside. Yeah, let's go fugling. There we go. Boom, one taken care of. I could go outside too. And just keep fighting it out. Like, the gatehouse is so good. Level 2 fugling, no problem. Just get lasered. But you can see, the gatehouse, it works stupid well. And if I didn't want to fight that guy in melee either down below, I could have just shot him right through here. He couldn't have done shit all against me. It's stupidly effective. The gatehouse works really well. This obviously isn't an original idea or anything like this. Like, this is straight out of ancient medieval times. This is how they dealt with shit people that tried to come through their gate. So, it works. But either way, I'll show you how to build these now because, as you just saw, they are extremely effective. And if you're having any trouble, like if you're living in the plains, or the plains isn't even going to be the last place. There's still 3 more zones, maybe 4, I think it's 3, that we should be expecting that are going to be even tougher than the plains. So yeah, having little things like this just to keep your shit safe, it makes a big difference. And also, it's kind of nice to have, it just looks cool. So in order to make the stone wall, you first are going to need a stone cutter. I recommend just slapping that right in the middle so that you can work around it. From there, we're going to count out a 4-block wall out to the side, or to the other side. This does not necessarily matter. It all depends on how big of a space that you want to actually have in the battle courtyard, which is just out here in between the 2 gates. If you want that to be a much wider area where you can trap a lot more guys and have like a full-on brawl, then just make this wider. It's not a huge deal. It'll cost you a little bit more resources, but overall not a ton more. But if you just want to make it just a thin passageway to be able to shoot stuff that comes through, you can make it as tight as just the door length. So if this was our gate, I'm going to make this one with a slightly bigger courtyard because the next one that I make will have a bigger courtyard. I want to be able to fight a little bit more in it. But we're going to build 4 out to the side on either side with these block walls. And then from there, we're going to build out 1 and then 2. I'm going to make mine relatively small just to show you how you actually construct this. But you can create yours as large or as small as you want depending on what your area looks like and what you actually need. I also recommend making these too high by going 1, 2. Just being a little bit higher up off the ground makes it so that none of the melee guys even have a chance of being able to like glitch up and get you. I've seen some pretty weird stuff with enemy movement so far, so just being up a little bit higher, trust me, it's nicer. Next after that, you want to take a floor to be able to see how far across you actually need to go. And we're just going to place this here to go 2 across. And well, actually, I'm going to place 1 right here to make it a little bit easier as a guide to be able to line up my wall with. After that, I'll grab another wall here. And we'll throw that right there to make that even. Throw that right there. And then after that... So this is where you can choose. It's actually cheaper to go with the 4x2 stone walls and wreath them up the sides like this, but it doesn't look quite as nice. So I'm going to go with the 4x2s and build them up this way, and then build these pillars here definitely more expensive to build it that way, but overall it looks nicer, and to me, when I'm building my gatehouse, I really want it to look nice, like, as it just looks nice. So you need 3 spaces in order for your guy to travel freely up and down between it without getting caught or anything like that. And that is how you make the ladder, and one side of a stone wall. So if I'll just destroy this wall to show you. So pretty much you would have this right here. This would be the entrance inside of your house. You'd run up here, be able to get up top here, and then anything that was attacking your castle, you would build up front here so that you could attack the front walls from here. And if you opened up the gate, things could funnel through inside into your actual area here, and you could easily just free fire on them with arrows. Just light them up through here. There's no actual like defenses yet. There's no cauldrons of hot water. There's no lava we could pour on people. Like, the best you could do is drop a log on someone. So in terms of actual gate defense, it's up to you and the weapons that you have to be able to destroy what's coming at you. You could get wolves, and you could fill this gatehouse with wolves, but from my own personal experience in trying to do exactly that, a single level 2 fugling that gets through those gate front doors is going to kill every single wolf that you have in a matter of seconds. So the wolves are fun, they look great, but if you like them in any way, shape, or form, don't put them in the gatehouse and anywhere above the mountains, because they'll get slaughtered. On my gatehouse, I've built this wall 2 more forwards so that I had room to actually build this walkway inwards to where my gate is. Pretty much the walkway goes across here, which allows me to shoot down inwards as well, and it works extremely well. But the only difference between being able to do that with what I've built here right now is this wall just has to be extended 2 more that way with just a double wall. In order to create the exact gatehouse that I have right here, it takes 420 stone and 70 wood. The wood is consistent for all of the poles, all the floors, and it also counts the doors and roofs. And all of the stone is just the bare minimums to be able to build the outside structure. It doesn't count the wall on the inside. In order to build the gates, depending on which gate you go for, will make a pretty big difference. If you go for the iron gates that I have right here, you're going to need to have a forge close by in order to repair those when things come to attack. But if you go with a wooden door or a wooden gate, you only need to keep the crafting table that you already have close by to repair your roofs and floors, and you don't need any additional crafting stations in order to construct it. The gate is definitely nicer for the durability of it, making sure that nothing can get in, but also the fact that it's see-through makes a huge difference in being able to tell if you want to go outside or if you want to go up top to try to shoot the shit that's outside. Because if this is a wooden gate and I just charged through right now and there were 6 fuglings right here, I'd get clapped, they'd run straight through my gate, and then while it wouldn't be a big deal because I have this second gate here and I would be able to fight them in the gatehouse, it's definitely not ideal to get clapped right outside the gate. Having the see-throughness of the bars, it's just nice. Now, if I was to recommend a couple of additional upgrades to the gate that you can make, try building a trench around the outside area of your gate everywhere except for the front door. That'll make it so that nothing can actually attack these outside walls and you don't have to worry about repairing them as much, and they always try to funnel through the front door, which means that these gates are the only thing that gets attacked. They have a lot of health, which means you can repair them pretty damn easily, and on top of that, you kind of want them to be attacking your gatehouse, otherwise it was kind of pointless making a gatehouse. You can definitely mess around with these gatehouses a lot. There's a couple of different ways that you could build them in order to make them more or less effective. This is probably the bare minimum gate that you could actually do, despite having the outer wall. You could just make it the inner wall with just this walkway, but the outer wall makes it so that nothing comes from the outside to attack you and gives you that extra little bit of defense, and also makes it so that you can repair from the inside, which is a huge bonus. Having a larger fight or gatehouse here makes it so that you can have more enemies there at one time, and also makes it so that when you are fighting an enemy in there, you get more of a 1v1 arena feel to it rather than I'm stuck in a hallway trying to fight this thing face to face, which might be your style, but I just like things to be a little bit bigger in terms of where I can fight people and move around a little bit more. Now that just about covers what you can do with stone gates. They're extremely effective, and I highly recommend if you have any sort of fortifications out in the plains or any of these much higher and harder areas, building one of these is huge. It just makes a huge difference. It's it's almost a must-have, honestly. I can't tell you how many times that this gatehouse has saved me where things probably would have punched through my front door and come and eat me alive on the inside. Now, Gatehouses are not only effective for people that are out in the plains or some of the higher areas right now. I'm going to show you how to make a wooden gatehouse that's a lot more cost effective and works just as well. Okay, so I'm going to make the second gate now. This is a lot more cost effective, and if you're not roaming in anything bigger than the Black Forest or the plains right now, or plains, the Black Forest or the meadows, the plains is not where you want to be, trust me. Then you don't need anything really bigger than this. You've got your first gate here. Pretty much you're again going to decide how big you want your gatehouse to be. On most of my worlds with wooden walls, I tend to make these one thick because I don't really want to scrap that many grey dwarves at the same time unless I have a stag hammer. But honestly, I do have the stag hammer most of the time, so it's not a huge deal. For this, I'm going to make it 2 wide so that I can show it at the same width as the stone wall. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2. From here, I'm going to go out 2 more. Come on, be symmetrical. You can line up. Let's do it. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, there we go. Make this all symmetrical here, looking nice. Bring this in here, and then we will throw our final gate on the outside wall. Boom, we got our double gate gatehouse. So, this is the bare minimum. This is gonna work. You've come in here, you've got 2 gates to separate you from the bad guys. It works. Well, actually, here, I've got some really mean fuglings that just showed up at the right time to be able to show you exactly how well this works. Okay. Oh, he's level 2 as well. Okay. So yeah, you run on through here, you're like, I don't want to deal with your shit. Alright, I got 1 layer of defense between me and the assholes, 2 layers of defense between me and the assholes, and I just realized that, yeah, okay, there's a hole. But either way, as you can see, you can repair from the inside here. So even though these guys hit like a truck, you can stay alive. Although that guy's fucking with my crops. He's gonna screw up my shit. But yeah, as long as you're in here, you're not gonna get clapped. I wish I was able to build up the archer side so that I could shoot these guys right back in the face and not just have to sit here and take this in my gatehouse. When you go to build this wall, I recommend making the outer wall, if possible, ever so slightly higher than the first one. And I'll show you why for that in a sec here. So after you built that second wall ever so slightly higher, the reason for that is because when you build the floors, if you were to build them on the first one, yes, you can shoot over it, and yes, it works, but if you put them up onto the second ones, a skeleton surprise. Alright, well, I guess this is perfect timing to show you exactly why we do this. So, you throw the ladder up here, you get right up on the tower here, and now we can fight from here. So, this gate tower is going to work meh against these skeletons because I don't have a front gate, but either way, we want the gate open with some skeletons in here. I'll show you how good the actual regular gate is. That one, I didn't have time to complete that. It was a little bit, this is weird timing, but either way, skeletons come through here. Look, we got some skeletons here. We'll open up the gate, let a few in. Come on in. I guess we'll just kill them. Close that gate there, make sure they don't get in here. We'll use our windows. By the way, that blue thing going off is one of the player portals. It's just so that other people can't break my stuff when they come to the world, and it just looked cool. The defense. But yeah, look at this tower. Absolute madness. Totally worth it. I'll show you the actual damage that I've taken in a second here because it's barely anything. But fighting out of this tower is extremely effective. I'll show you the actual gatehouse too here so that we're not just shooting out the front again. Here, we'll open up the gate. See if they come in. So the gatehouse is open. Now they can actually funnel in here and fight if they want to. I'm going to get a few of them in here. And then I'll close the gate. Normally I wouldn't have to close the gate, but I just want these guys to stay in here and not run around like madmen. So they're now in the gatehouse. Say I just left the front gate open, and this is just where they were because of that. Now that they're in the gatehouse, easily just rifle down on top of them and just start lasering the skeletons from above. My aim is atrocious right now. There we go. But they can't do anything. Like, any melee enemies, they don't really stand a chance with this kind of stuff. But you can shoot down from above, absolutely slay them. And look, skeleton surprise, no biggie. Absolutely no biggie. You can deal with that any day. Let's see how much damage they actually did. Minimal. They barely did anything. There's probably some... Looks like the moat didn't catch any this time around. But yeah, that's the effectiveness of the gatehouse. Like, they actually can't do anything. They've got one way in, one way out. And you've got all the power. You've got the windows to shoot from. You've got the height advantage. You've got the high ground. And there's not a whole lot they can do. I'm going to use this single skeleton to explain. Yeah, look at that. Same thing. They come into the gatehouse. You've got the distance to deal with them. Say you wanted to fight them in there, you could. Also, if you left the gate open there, it's the same thing. Since this wall is a little bit higher than this one, it gives you a bit more of an angle to shoot down with, and it makes it a lot easier to actually just pick off the skeletons or anything that's gotten into your gatehouse and actually fight them off. Okay. See? This is why I build the windows like that. Those posts in between the double wide windows are lifesavers. The Deskitos can't get in. Deskitos, they can't figure out my roof either. They don't really understand. Yeah, see, like, they don't get it. And then they fuck off. And then when they leave, that's when I shoot them. I missed. He's right here. Right there. There we go. The last thing that I could recommend in terms of building this gatehouse is that if you are going to build up and continue to build the windows like I have on mine, continue building all the way to the top and build a third layer on top of your gatehouse so that you can also stand on top of it and fire. One slight disability that I have with my gatehouse is that when things are slightly far away or in a little bit of a weird position, it's hard for me to look out the window and actually get a shot on them. When I was fighting those fuglings earlier, it wasn't too hard to get a shot because I stand back a little bit, but if you look actually in the window, it's not exactly easy to get a sight line on the things that you're shooting at. If you're standing up on top of the building though, it's a much easier sight line and a lot easier to shoot things from farther distances. If you can get up top here, as you can see, there's a lot more that I could shoot at up here. I'm way less defended against things like Deskitos and Fugling Spears, but it also gives me a much higher offensive potential when it comes to fighting off intruders to my house. These gatehouses are super effective. Highly recommend them for anybody that's having any sort of trouble keeping their house safe in a game. But if this video helped you in any way in terms of figuring out which gatehouse that you might want to build on top of your house, or even just giving you an idea of how you can defend your house a little bit better, considering leaving a like on the video, and let me know what kind of gatehouse that you've built on your castle, or whatever you've built so far. I've seen some absolutely insane creations in this game so far. The stuff that people are building is out of this world. Like, when I built this castle, I was so proud of myself. I sat up on this house right here, and I was like, yeah, I did a good thing. And then I go on top and I see, online I see 1,000 different chapels and castles and Thomas the Tank Engine trolls. It's crazy to see what people are building, and it's also amazing. Thanks for watching the video. If you learned a little bit about gates or how you want to build yours, or even just a little bit about further strategy to help you defend your house in some of these way more toxic places like the plains or the mountains, consider leaving a like on the video, maybe subscribe, and until the next one, peace.